You're muted. You're muted. Yashika. Yeah.
All right, we are ready for another CITCA live chat discussion surrounding mental wellness. Today's topic is a teen summit, and we want to shed light on supporting youth's mental health. And the content may be triggering for some because we are going to talk about suicide and mention it. As a parent, when I hear of a youth committing suicide, it's kind of touching because you start to think, okay, am I doing everything I need to do? Does my child need me? It's just such a tragedy that not only impacts the life of the family who experienced it, but everyone else in the community, right? So as we send the youth back to school, there's a lot of concerns on everyone's minds, from the viruses and breakouts to just the quality of education due to teacher shortages all over the country. It's more important than ever for us to show up for our children, and just to increase the communication relationship. So that's what this live is going to be about. Many of us parents can relate to having full-time jobs, entrepreneurial projects, after school sports, extracurriculars, weekends on the field, travel for parents who travel with sports. It is a load of things. So we know that many parents are doing the best that they can, but much has changed and suicide is increasing. So this live tonight is to share resources and give parents more to consider on this parenting journey, so that we can greater support our youth. Today's panel is going to be led by youth, and we are about to allow them to introduce themselves. My name is Jacqueline Stevenson. I am the Executive Director of Counselors in the Community Association, and my background is in mental health, counseling, behavior science, and organizational development.
Good evening. My name is Amanda McIntyre. I'm a licensed clinical social worker who owns and operates a sanctuary care and counseling center. I'm also a board member for CITCA, and I am here because I'm just passionate about all things health and wellness.
Good evening. My name is Jashika Smith. I am a licensed professional school counselor as well as a self-published author, and I am just happy to be here to hear from our youth. So we'll go ahead and get started. We really appreciate you guys being here tonight. And before we get started, we would like for you guys to each go around to tell us your name, your age, where you're from, or your grade level, whichever works best for you, and tell us your why. Why did you offer to say, yes, I will be willing to speak on this topic this evening?
Hello, my name is Aaron Jones. I am 17 years old and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I came here so that I can work on my public speaking and my anxiety when I speak in front of real life people. And I just hope that I can contribute very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie?
Hello, I'm Jamie. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Georgia. I'm in 12th grade, and I decided to come on here today and because I like talking about mental health and self-growth and self-development. So I decided to put my input into it.
Thank you. TJ, you ready?
Hi, I'm TJ Harris. I'm 15 and I'm from Atlanta. And I said yes to coming on here because I think that it is important for our parents to know about us as teens, what we need and what we want from them, because our health is important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Naya?
Hi, my name is Samaya. I am 16 years old, and I came here to be somewhat of a voice for the youth because not many can speak up or express their feelings or express what bothers them when talking to a parent or anything around that sort.
Thank you.
And Naya, I think your phone is frozen, so see if you can reset somehow.
Last but not least, Dylan. Is she there? Okay.
Hi, my name is Dylan. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm 11 years old. I'm in seventh grade. And I came on here to, spread awareness to what's happening and, teens' lives and, have some new experiences.
Well, thank you guys again. Thank you guys for being here today. My first question for you guys, we're just gonna jump right in. What does mental health look like to you all, and how has it shown up in each of your lives in ways? And whoever would like to go first, that's fine.
For me, mental health is the state of either being sad or happy. When you're not mentally healthy, you are obviously like sad or angry. But when you are mentally healthy, that means you are happy. And being mentally happy is just like the state of being of where you want to be.
Mm, thank you, Jamie.
Mental health to me is how I feel deeper than the feelings I show.
Mm,
And I feel like mental health is just, yeah, basically deeper than what you show and deeper than with what do you put out there.
To me, mental health is the condition of my mind and how happy and peaceful I am with myself. And some people can come and affect that negatively and ruin my peace, and some people can come and affect it positively and lift me up and make me feel even better about myself.
To me, mental health is not just being mentally happy and physically happy. It's knowing your emotions, knowing what you feel, and how to handle what you're feeling in the moment. Like taking deep breaths and calming yourself.
thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Mental
So
health
now
to
is she
me.
there? I think you're muted.
We can't hear you. Speak up
Can you hear me now?
a little bit.
A little bit.
Is this better? Sorry, I don't know. You guys can't hear me.
We
Mental
can hear
health.
you. It's just real soft. Sorry.
Oh, mental health to me is so basically how I look at it is like the state of your mind,
Mhm.
how you think, how you see things, how you react to other people, how you talk to people, how you engage, or how you act when you're outside, or how social you're being. Because I know, like sometimes some people when they're in a bad state of mind, they aren't social like they usually are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for that. Thank you guys, because those are all great points about mental health, what it looks like for each of you guys. It is definitely about the developmental and emotional milestones in life and how you cope with those problems. So it's great that you guys are aware of what it looks like. And thank you. Thank you. I think now we're going to transition over to
A little
perspective
game. So y'all know
game.
we like to be a little exciting with our live discussions. We like to either include a game, activity, or something, right? So for this one, we're going to play a little game with the youth and the community called Perspectives, right? So this perspectives exercise is meant to just shed light on how common misunderstandings can just hurt the communication relationship really.
All right. So let's just jump into it. Let's have Sanaya and Jamie.
Okay.
Alrighty.
What are you doing on your phone?
I'm doing my work. My computer died.
No, that's an excuse. Grab your computer and do your work how you're supposed to do it, not on a cell phone.
My computer died. I don't have my charger. It's not working. So I'm doing my phone.
Why don't you have your charger? This is what happens when you're not responsible. You lose things. Give me your phone.
I'm doing it on my phone. Can I just finish my homework?
No, you need to be responsible. You're around that age where you need to be responsible, and this is just something you need to do. I'm not arguing with you. Give me your phone.
Okay, here.
Okay. Let's look at perspective from Sanaya and TJ.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
My bad, I had to get my phone.
Okay.
What are you doing? I told you to go do the dishes like 2 hours ago.
I'm doing my work. I have an assignment that's due tomorrow.
I don't care. I told you to do something. Now go do it. You've been home
What
for a long period of time now. You should have been and completed your homework. Go do your
But,
chores.
but if I don't finish this homework, then I'm gonna get an F tomorrow on my grade.
No. Are you talking back to me? I told you to do something. Why are you still talking?
Because if I get an F, then you're gonna get me in trouble again. So then I'll be in trouble either way.
You're being disrespectful. Give me your phone, go do your chores, and go to bed.
Here.
Okay. Thank you. Aaron and Dylan.
What are you doing?
I'm finding music for my homework.
Aren't you supposed to be doing your homework and not listening to music? Why are you on your phone?
The music helps me with my homework.
You
It
can't
helps,
do both. I'm sorry, you can't do both. You have to focus on one thing at a time. Give me your phone.
the music helps me focus with my homework. Without it, I'm just gonna be anxious and I'm gonna need it for my homework.
I I don't care. Give me your phone and do your work like I told you to. I'm not asking. Thank you.
All right.
So that was just kind of an opportunity that we wanted to show perspectives in different scenarios, right? And perspectives really change the game, right? So our first scenario was the perspective of technology. Jamie's on her cell phone. Mom comes in and is like, "Why you're on your phone?" Jamie's explaining to her her computer went down. So Jamie is being resourceful, but mom labeled her as being irresponsible, right? And what is another way that mom could have looked at that was more empowering than shutting her down? Because Jamie, the real excuse could have been, "My computer's dead, I can't do my homework." But Jamie found another way. Let me go ahead and get this done so I can complete this assignment, right? And so just challenging our ways of thinking, because here's the thing, just because we think something doesn't always mean it's true, right? So the other one we had was what? Well, we were kind of naming as competing priorities. So TJ's trying to do his homework, and was that you too, Sanaya? Right. So TJ's trying to do his homework, and Sanaya's like, "Hey, do the dishes." Well, TJ probably has the responsibility of academics and home chores, right? And so, how do you know which comes first? What if he's trying to manage it all? Most of us, as or those of you who are parents, usually have more than one responsibility. If those of you who work outside the home or work in the home, there's a lot of things happening at one time. And so sometimes you just do the best that you can or what you feel needs to be done at that moment. And as TJ was trying to explain that to mom, the language was, "You're being disrespectful." So can we give our children permission to say what's happening or give voice to what's going on without labeling it as disrespect? Another way to challenge our perspectives. With Dylan and Aaron, Dylan is listening to music. Aaron is saying, "Why aren't you doing your homework?" Dylan's like, "I am doing my homework." Aaron's like, "Well, why is the music on?" Dylan is trying to explain that music helps her. And we all have different ways of showing up our best selves, right? And so what I'm hearing with Dylan is music helps to calm her, to soothe her, helps her to focus and concentrate. Now, in my mind, right, because I'm all over the place, music would totally make me confused, disoriented, all of these things would happen. But understanding your child may have different needs than you, or even different needs than your other children, can help us to change our perspectives. So this whole activity was just a way of kind of helping us to think outside the box. And sometimes when we find ourselves in tough situations with people, but particularly with our teens, we can challenge ourselves by asking ourselves, how can I look at this another way?
Mm-hmm. So, panel, we want to hear from you on just the different perspectives. Go ahead, Shuka.
Yes, I want to know in those moments when those perspectives are actually occurring in your household or outside of your household. Um, in that moment, how does that make you feel as far as when we're tying it back into our mental health?
Sometimes I would feel like I am unheard or not loved in a situation where I'm not believed by my own mother. But that can simply be fixed by, okay, we can talk it out and she can get a better understanding of why I'm doing what I do.
Sometimes it can be fixed by proper communication. Sometimes parents jump to conclusions before acting, and then sometimes it could give off a negative effect to the kids. Sometimes it's just about being heard, like Parents jump into conclusion. You're trying to explain why. It's looked at as being disrespectful, but when really you're just trying to let them know and communicate that what they're saying is wrong and what you're actually doing is, what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like parents don't like to be wrong or told that they're wrong. So obviously, like I'm telling you, I'm doing the opposite of what you think I'm doing. It's like, no, that's not right. You're wrong. I'm right. So I feel like if it's a kind of like a mutual respect thing where I can also be right and you can also be wrong and I can also be wrong and you can be right, then I feel like we can have mutual communication and where I feel heard and you feel heard and respectful.
I agree. Sometimes parents like to say, I'm the parent, I know what's best, I know this, I know that, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. But sometimes, like she said, they don't like to be wrong, so they like to flip it or say other things or say what you're not doing or what you could be doing just because sometimes they're wrong.
So, what does mental health for children that are in school, right? And you're battling all of these demands, and let's talk about the competing priorities a little bit, just so that because parents, we will have sometimes that stigma where we're looking at it like, well, what do you have to be worried about? Like you get free rent, you get everything you need, and it's like I'm doing the best that I can, right? So speak to just those competing priorities and what you guys feel like parents may not understand that you are experiencing from your day to day and transitions and social experiences and all of these things, and still trying to be their shining star too.
With me, I think being a teenager in these times is a mental battle in itself because we have the internet. And like I feel like our life on the internet is looked at different. It's like you see the internet is like, well, I want that. I want my life to be like that. And when you actually go into real life, it's not like that. It's kind of like, ugh, it's kind of depressing. And then on top of that, you're not where you want to be in life. And because I feel like me, especially at 17, we feel like we're running out of time. Like we're running out of time. Like we don't have time to finish everything on top of going to school, on top of doing sports, on top of going to work, on top of all that, being like a teenager and trying to actually be successful in life is just mentally challenging in itself.
I agree. I feel like she said, being a teenager is overwhelming itself when you know you have so many responsibilities, when you know you have to live up to certain expectations, when you know you could be doing better for yourself, or sometimes you're just mentally tired and you want to do better for yourself, but you're not in the right mindset to push yourself to do better. So like she said, it's just kind of being a teenager is overwhelming. Like, yeah, we don't have to worry about bills or putting food on the table, but sometimes school could be overwhelming. It could be you're struggling in a subject and you don't know what to do. Sometimes it could be the peers around you are negative, and sometimes it could be you have anxiety. It's overwhelming. It's getting to you. It's making you feel like you can't do this and that. So I feel like just because we don't have to pay bills and things like that, there's definitely other things that is, like a struggle to us or overwhelming to us that sometimes parents don't get.
Let me ask this question. Thank you very much. Can I ask this question? How do you prioritize? Like, who sets the priority? Do you identify what's a priority, or does the priority come from what your parents set?
Are you asking me?
Anybody?
Yes, everybody.
I think the priority comes from where our parents set because we try to do what they say and what they tell us is right and wrong, or and live by what they want us to do. So I feel like they set the priority, and then when we see things that come into our lives that kind of fit better, like chores, like something comes before chores, and they see something that comes after chores, it's gonna like, well, it's more important to me, and it's not as important to them. So.
I
I would
agree.
love to say something.
I would love to hear from TJ and Dylan. Neither one of you guys have said anything, but both of you guys are youngest two people. You're the youngest two people on the panel. So tell us like what you guys are thinking right now.
Well, on this topic specifically, I don't have anything to say because I completely agree with what Jamie said. I think that our parents really decide what our priorities are because it's what they see as important, not necessarily what we see as important. So I think that at least now they set our priorities, not us.
Okay.
I think that priorities are made by both. Because teens have their own priorities, and you could be, hey, I have to do this, I have to do homework, this, chores, and this. But then your parents will come around and turn that. So I think it's not necessarily that you don't make your own priorities. It's that,
Hold on 1 second.
sorry. I don't think it's that you don't make your own priorities. I think it's more of your priorities get changed. I think it's you don't make your own decisions. And like she said, it's not like the parents will make it up for you. And then the things that you need to do that will help you do the other things that your parents want you to do will get canceled out, and everything will be messed up.
Interesting.
So,
So, oh, I'm sorry. You got another question for them right
mm,
now?
no, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So what we're about to do, so just to wrap up what we've just understood about the perspectives part of this, right? So pretty much, um, just mutual respect could be very helpful to just kind of like limiting those shutdowns that they may go through when parents come with the attacks on our requirements, and they have some priorities too. So just understanding that the children, we want them to do their best, we want them to excel, but we also gotta give them room to do that by not posing so much restriction and demands on them without at least understanding their perspective just a little bit, right? Every parenting style is different, of course, and every child is different, but we have to learn our children because they're constantly growing, constantly changing, and our children also have to learn us because we are constantly growing, we are constantly changing. So just gradually over time, it's good to just reestablish those boundaries, those communication connections, and just keep that relationship open, because everything around us is impacted, around our mental health, impacts our mental health, everything around us. Your peace is impacted, your behaviors, and um, it's just, as we go into the next segment, we want to share a video.
Can
And
we?
again, we have the trigger warning because we are discussing topics like suicide, because this is very occurring often in our community and we want to address it. So, this next area is just understanding, really. So, hold on 1 second. Let's pull up our nice video that
I
is
think
going to.
I think TJ wanted to say something before we did the video. I don't know.
No, you're good. I didn't. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Hey TikTok, I came on here because I just experienced something that probably could have changed. I just want to send a warning out to all parents. All parents, check on your kids. Kids are out here battling stuff that you have no clue about. My sister, my 12-year-old sister, just tried to kill herself. I'm outside of the emergency room right now because they told me I couldn't go back there with her and my mother. Check on y'all kids. It's important. That's the most important thing that you could do. You should never think that your child is okay just because they get everything that they want. You do everything that they ask. It's more stuff. It's deeper than that. Never tell a child that they're doing what they're doing for attention. It's always deeper than that. My mother ignored all the signs. And I'm not on here to bash her. I'm on here.
Wow, right?
Yes. Goodness. So when you guys see that video and you hear what she's saying, when you think about your parents or you think about the adults in your life, what, I'm sorry, what are the things that you want them to understand about the needs that you have as a teenager when it comes to your mental health?
That sometimes it's like you want to talk, but you don't know how to say it. Sometimes people can get frustrated when you're not saying it, or you're kind of like dragging it along, but sometimes it can be hard for you to say it because you don't know how to put it in the right words. Or sometimes you don't know how to express what you're feeling. It could just be, a mindset that you're in, or a feeling, or something you're around, the environment you're around.
Um, I think that they should, because they say that, hey, you can always talk to me. I'm here. You can trust me. And my thing is with parents, sometimes, most of the time, if you tell them something, they'll go on to your family members or to your friends. Hey, guess what? She said this. Can you believe this? And it's like it's not really a safe space for you to actually talk, because then it's going to go on to other people, and then that friend or the cousin or whatever be like, oh girl, it's just this, and it's really a whole deeper meaning to everything that they're saying. And a lot of times it including with me, if you ask your child, I think there should be another space, not just like an adult therapist, like I was saying, somebody that you can trust, like your somebody your age that you can talk to. Because a lot of times my mom will be like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like, yeah, sure. But a lot of times it's not just I'm okay. It's I'm anxious. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that, and it should just be a lot more resources, closer to their age, and a lot more resources that aren't, far away or very expensive that you can be able to use.
Thank you, Dylan.
I really. Oh, sorry. Do you want to?
No,
Real
go
quick,
ahead,
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted all
Okay.
of
Okay.
you all to speak to that, or who could, because when Dylan said something about you talking to your parents and then they telling other family members, if we were in church, each one of you all said amen. Like your faces was like,
Yeah.
so
I think that parents should fully make like their like the child the relationship with them and their child, it should be fully a safe space. I think that children should be able to tell their parents how they're feeling and not feel like they're going to be judged and not feel like the information not going to be told to them. I feel like parents should be like kind of like a friend, and even though a lot of parents are like, I'm not your friend, like this is not what's going on, I think that as a parent you need to be a friend to your child and you need to have that mutual respect with them, because when you do belittle your child and you put your child inside of that space, not get that the respect that parents talk about that the parents should give their children, it's it's putting yourself on a higher pedestal than your child, and if your child just sees you as human, then that makes them feel like they're less than human, and I think that that really can take a toll on a child's mental health and how they see themselves, and that can not only affect their relationship with you, but it can affect the relationship with a bunch of other people. And that's how people grow up with parents who are very authoritative. And then once they go into a situation with someone else who is very authoritative, they go into this shell because they're reminded of how their parents treated them. And I think that if you really want your child to grow up and be the empowered person that you want them to be, then I think that you have to do what someone does to empower something else and to lift your child up and to tell them all these positive things and to treat them with the respect that they deserve to be treated with. Because if you make it a norm that they shouldn't be treated with respect, then they're going to expect that from other people, and that's not what you want for your
Oh
child.
Lord, thank you, TJ.
I know coming
You said a
through real quick,
mouthful.
right?
As
Look.
parents, I think sometimes us as parents, we look at it as, oh, when they turn 21, they'll be able to do what they need to do. But they can't be who they need to be if you haven't given them the tools to be that person. And we have to understand that sometimes parents can only give what they got, But that's a power. Ooh, that was
I
good.
agree 100% with
Yeah.
Yeah, I
everything
saw
you
your
said.
face looking up.
Oh, your face. I'm
Can I
glad
add in a
I'm
little
your
bit?
mom.
Yeah, I totally agree with TJ and Dylan. Like they definitely hit the spot. Like I feel like parent and child relationship shouldn't be a dictatorship. It should just be. I said okay, friendship. I feel like it should be like a friendship, but where the boundaries come in. Like you don't have to. I don't have to tell you everything, but I feel like I should come to you to moments of time where I am feeling down, when I feel like I have nobody around, when I am feeling lonely. I should be able to come to you and know you're not going to go tell grandma next week.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I
like,
100%.
I just feel like it should be safe place and boundary set when it comes to that.
Yeah, because sometimes it could feel like it's like mistrust there. I trusted you with this and this. You comfort me and you tell. Even sometimes it's not always a good thing to tell family members because they put their opinion in it, and depending on the situation, it could make you feel a certain way or make you feel like, oh, why would they say this, or why would the parents tell them this? Now I'm getting this and this from them. I'm hearing this from them. This is why, it could be like, this is why I don't want to tell the parent thing, because when I do, it backfires, or it just don't turn out how sometimes it's you expected it to turn out.
Right.
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 And I think this is where like trust issues stem from. And I feel like they're projecting what they were taught. I mean, they only do what they know.
Mm-hmm.
They're only teaching what they know. But I feel like you have a conscience, a subconscious to be like, all right, this is I don't want to. I know what I wanted out of a childhood. I should treat my child with the opposite way.
Can I add on to this boundaries part? So for boundaries, you know how parents be like, I don't gotta knock on, or at least my mom, I don't have to knock on your door. You're my child. This is my house. But I think as a growing person, you should be able to have some privacy. And if you have to give them your passwords to everything, and if they don't have to knock on your door, I just think it's very, you're not your child has boundaries with you, and your child can't do this thing, and I understand that, but you can't have any boundaries towards your child. Like, there's no privacy. And I think your child should have privacy because, like I said, we're growing, we're learning ourselves. And for that to happen, I think parents shouldn't just, barge into everything or know every single thing about them.
So, that's where it gets tricky, right? Because we want to understand, we want to know, but you guys also want that privacy. So then parents step up and kind of lend that privacy. So my question will be, how does the parent have that balance? How do they know when I need to really be stepping up versus I'm kind of being a little too pushy?
Kind of like I'll come to you when I'm ready to talk, or when I need someone to talk to, or when I need to tell you something important. Sometimes it's not so much of you need to worry or you need to check in, because sometimes we're fine. We can deal with it our own. We like to handle some of the mental issues that we deal with on our own. Sometimes it's just when we're ready to talk. Sometimes it's just we will. In
And
my
what do
opinion,
you think it
I
should
don't
be?
know.
I think that parents will just see like from their kids by the way that they act. Like if they're like not talking a lot, then that means like something is wrong. They're less energetic. I think that parents should understand that from the moment we are born, we are expressing our stress. We are in a stressful situation. We are crying as babies, and we need some type of help, some peace, and they should be there to like help and comfort us.
I agree with Aaron, and that I actually like want to jump onto that. I think that, like he said, if a baby is crying, then as a parent, you coddle them and you make sure that they feel protected and that they feel safe. It's the same thing when they get older, and just because the problem isn't as simple as in like feeling like tired or like pooping your pants or whatever, something like that as a baby, the problems still progress, and as a parent, you still should try to want to protect your child and still want to coddle them and still want to make sure that they feel safe inside of those situations. And just because a child is getting older doesn't mean that you should stop, loving them and caring for them like you did when they were a baby. And as they are getting older, you still should show that love, but that love shouldn't be so how do I say, like, constricting or suffocating. And that's where the boundaries come in. And I think that though you should, and I think that if you have loved your child the way that you should, when they're younger, then they will feel safe to come to you, and they will feel honest to talk to you about those boundaries. Because I think that boundaries aren't just um like what a parent sets. I think that it's a conversation between the parent and the child, and what they come to an agreement with, and what is comfortable with their relationship. Because if it's just the parent, then, as time has shown, that it's going to be kind of a dictatorship, and those boundaries are going to be farther than they want. But if it's a child making decisions, as a child, you're curious, you're going to want to do things. Some of those boundaries are going to be too lenient. So I think that the boundaries conversation that we were having earlier, I think that it just comes down to you having an open communication with your child, and just talking about those boundaries, because boundaries are different for every single person. Because like we said before, having a child is a case by case basis, but also having a parent is a case by case basis. So because they're so case by case, you need to have open communication and that respect with each other, as parent and child, to make sure that the relationship moves smoothly, and so that those boundaries can be set properly.
I love that you said that it's a case by case, because it really is. There is no book for parenting or being a child. And I want to transition from the adults in your life and transition to your friendships. How does mental health show up in your friendships? Like, what does that look like for
And
teenagers?
for my friendships, everybody that I'm friends with, or most people that I'm friends with, are older than me because I am 11 in the seventh grade, and some sixth graders are older than me. So a lot of stuff will happen in my class. It'll be, hey, you're this age, you're 11, so you can't be talking. And my thing is, if your friends, and I'm not saying your friends need to fight your battles, but if your friends just, sit there or laugh with them, it's not okay, because that can really impact your mental health. If you have a friend and you're explaining your feelings to them, and you're, hey, I'm dealing with this, I'm feeling this way, can you help me? And don't like trauma dump on them or anything, but like, just explain how you're feeling. And they're just like, oh, you're looking for attention, you're okay, you're fine. Something bad might happen, or they might feel a certain way about you that you don't really know how to deal with them, and they don't know how to deal with you. So in a friendship, you should look for somebody who's compatible, who you can work with, and that they can work with you. Somebody who you can go to for help, and that they can come to you for help. Everything should, be vice versa, per se. Um, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start with Earn and then go
Yeah.
down. That way everybody knows how to just transition. Go ahead, Earn.
I would say mental health in a friend group depends on who you surround yourself with. Like, say there's this one guy in the friend group who's like real popular. He has all the attention, and you just don't feel important because he's like having fun with your other friends, and you're just like kind of lagging behind. And then you start to feel like, I wish I was as cool as him. And then you start to put yourself down, and you want to be more like them, and you just like overdo it. And a great way to fix that is to just calm down and like figure out like who you are, be happy with what you like and what you want to do, and don't care about what anybody else thinks.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Can I also add on a little bit?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think there shouldn't be a hierarchy in friendships. So, like he was saying, there's this popular kid, and, everybody's hanging around this popular kid, and you're thinking, like he said, you're thinking, hey, I wish I was like them. I think that it should all be equal. I think nobody should be like, hey, let's follow her 'cause she's cool, she's popular, she's pretty, she's tall, whatever. I think it should be, hey, let's all do this because we all want to do this. Or,
Mhm.
if somebody wants to do something and everybody's like, hey, that's cool if you want to do it. It shouldn't be, oh, only because they want to do it. It should be, oh, that's cool if you want to do it. I think that would be cool too. It should be everybody just, the same. Everybody shouldn't be following somebody else. Nobody should be thinking that they're less than somebody else. Nobody should be thinking that somebody else is higher than them.
For me and my friendships, I require my friends to be self-aware, like to know and know how to take accountability for their actions, so they know how they feel. So when I can come to you, when I know that you have self-awareness and you can hold yourself accountable, I can come to you and you can hold me accountable as well for my actions. So I know I'm not. So I can come to you about a situation and it doesn't be like, oh, you're right, like a yes man. Instead of being like, oh, maybe bro, no, that was wrong. Like you shouldn't have did that. And that can also hold me accountable. I feel like it should go both ways in a friendship to be trustworthy and yeah, just I feel like mentally self-aware, just self-aware and know how to be accountable. And that can also hold me accountable. I feel like it should go both ways in a friendship.
Um, what I have to say, I guess I have two things on my friendships and mental health. The first one is that you should honestly just be nice and happy and just spread positivity with everyone because, like we've been talking about the entirety of this conversation, people are going through things that you have no idea about. And especially I think as teens, the friendships that we have, like you might think that they're super close, but but people have homes that they go to, and you might not even know about their home life or whatever like that. Some people's parents don't even know about their mental health or what's going on with them. So I think that because you don't fully know what someone is going through, I think you should always spread positivity and just be nice to everyone. And if someone is mean to you, I think that the best way to not ruin your own character and be mean to them is to just take yourself out of those situations and to just surround yourself with people who are positive and happy. And something that we talked about before was that and if you aren't able to find people who are positive and who are nice to you, I think that you should just honestly try to be nice to yourself and just spend time alone if you can't find those people, because I think that it's better if you are alone and with yourself and you like yourself than it would be to be around other people who don't like you. Now, something that I learned in high school so far is that you should honestly just learn to let people be who they are, because something that I tried to do was I tried to expect friendships from people who didn't want to be friends with me. And once I realized that the friendship that we had was very shallow and I was able to accept that, I found myself being hurt less because I knew what I was going to get from the people that I was hanging around. So I think you should just know who the people that you surround yourself with and know who you're hanging out with. Because once you know that, then you won't be surprised by anything that they do and then you will get hurt less.
Like he said, that you should be, you should always be nice to somebody because you never know what they're going through. That was my thing. I was always nice to everybody, no matter what. And there was this one girl. She was in my class. She lied on me. She told everybody that I punched her on the first day of school, and everybody knew Dylan wouldn't do that. She's too scared to hit somebody. So everybody's confused, talking about what, she punched you, and then she's lying on everybody in the friend group. So, and then I asked my friend, I'm like, why are you still friends with her? She's like, oh, we're just fake friends. I was like, don't do that. Don't be fake. Just don't be her friend. If she doesn't have any real friends, let her not have any friends at all. Because if you're fake, that's just gonna hurt you and her. So
So being yourself in friendships
Yeah.
even still. And
Yeah.
Tanaya, your perspective on
Yeah.
how mental health shows up in friendships.
The being true and loyal to yourself and to your friends is kind of my look on it. Being true to yourself and knowing how you're supposed to be treating and knowing how you're supposed to treat others or how you allow others to treat you is something important, or how I look at it. Because some people might have years of friendship and might allow something that don't really sit right with them just because of how long they've been friends, and they don't want to break up the friendship, or they don't want to cause anything that'll, you know, make the friendship or make them stop being friends. So I think being true to yourself and knowing boundaries and knowing how you're supposed to be treating and knowing how how to treat others is very important in friendships.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it. I love all of this feedback that you guys are giving us as adults because we can definitely learn from you guys. You know, we think we know everything like y'all say we do, but we really don't. So we're still learning as well. I want to transition into um, what are some of the resources that you guys wish were available, and what are some of the resources or the things that you carry in your own toolbox that your parents may have given you, so that you're able to manage your mental health because you guys are in a different age, social media and all of that. That it's a lot.
I think breaks,
Mm,
like social breaks or getting out of the same environment, or I don't really know tools, but I know different things like changing up the environment you're in, or maybe changing up the friends, or changing up the music you listen to, or changing the way you do things, or how you live, or how you know, maybe some self reflect just to help yourself. Sometimes it may not always be what you're around, who you're around, or what what people are doing. Sometimes it just could be you.
All right, we'll go with Dylan, then we'll go backwards this
yeah.
time.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
The question was what what resources do you have to um, give us that girl, you didn't make me miss the question. What resources do you wish what resources do you wish were available for you all at your age when it comes to mental health, but also what are some things that you personally have in your toolbox to help you balance your mental health?
um I wish that, normally, you're gonna have to work years for therapy to become a therapist, and by then you're an adult. But I think not that, you have to get a degree and everything, but I think it should be available to talk to somebody, around your age, that you can actually like express your feelings to somebody, that you don't have to be afraid, like, oh, if I say this, I'm gonna get in trouble. So let me not say that. And you're not gonna actually get all of your feelings out. And what you think about other people, even what you think about the person that you're talking to. Because I've had a therapist, and I was like, oh, I don't really like her, but I can't really say that. So, I can really, tell her everything that I was feeling, because and that's another thing about me, I don't really like hurting people's feelings. And, sometimes you just have to. And it's not a matter of, hey, I don't like you, you're ugly or something. It's just a matter of, I just feel this way about you, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feelings. Um, and the things that I have, like in the skit, I actually use music. Music is like my number one choice of therapy instead of going to actual therapy. Music is very therapeutic for me. And I think meditating is great too. I don't do it enough, but I think meditating is also good. Stretching your body, and or like just eating something that you like, not like, a whole bunch of fast food, but eating something that's good and healthy. I think that's also, good for you too.
Thank you, Aaron.
What I like to use is motivational speaking. I listen to a lot of most motivational speakers. They like get into my head. They tell me like what I should do. That people they go through this so that I don't have to. They've already walked down this path, and I could not go down that path that they went down. And they tell me a different route, and I listen to them. And the channel that I listen to is called Motiversity. They have various motivational speakers, and all of them do an excellent job at making sure like you know that you're the lion and not the sheep, you're the hunter and not the prey, and you can do anything you put your mind to, whether that's seeking wealth or mental health.
What I wish was available is people to know, like, people for kids our age to know about a platform like this so they can reach out and talk to people our age, or have adults that kind of understand or not judgmental, and that we could talk to as well. I feel like therapy is a good thing to have, And it is a good thing to have another adult to tell you their experiences, and but not try to kind of shell you from walking down and let you make your mistakes, but also talk you through them. And something I use is this podcast called the Know For Sure podcast. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely something I recommend. It's like funny, and it talks about mental health, self growth, and just bettering yourself. And if you're like Christian, or if you believe in a higher power, it talks about stuff like that, how kind of be into with that. And yeah, that's what I do. So I feel like I recommend it.
Personally, something that I use right now is honestly just like trying to be trying to like free up my mind, because you know how they say ignorance is bliss. That's just because like if you don't know any of the stresses that are going on in the world or in your life, then you're just happy. And so then what I try to do is I just try to do something mindless, like play video games, or just like draw or read, or sometimes I'll just sing even though I'm really not a good singer, just to get my mind off of the things that I'm stressing about, and just to like kind of free up that space just so I can just be calm for a second. A resource that I want to have is, yes, more spaces like these where teens can talk with each other, but I also think that just more safe spaces where teens can go talk to other teens, because I know that a lot of people will say go talk to an adult who knows what they're talking about, but even if you're talking to an adult, those are two different generations, and you know that they will, even though they might say that they understand it, they will never truly understand the situation that you're in. And I think that having more spaces there are trusted teens who are open and just willing to hear what you have to say is really important, because I have friends, personal friends, who have tried to go to those spaces and tried to go talk to other teens, and then ended up talking to somebody who was, while we were 13, someone who's 19. And while they are still a teen, those teens are much older than us. And even then, that difference is so big that they don't understand what we're going through right now. And they've had situations where those teens have tried to take advantage of them or do other things. And I think that just having spaces where you can talk to teens who are your age and who really do understand what you're going through at this time is just really important in our developmental stages, especially because of the technology that we live in, and because we're not able to go out as much because of how fast the world is going. Because I know that my mom, she used to just go out in her neighborhood and see her friends, but me, I don't have any friends in my neighborhood. All my friends go to my school, and so since I'm not able to talk to them all the time, and I don't have a lot of friends in my school. So what am I supposed to do if the friends that I do have aren't willing to talk right now? Am I supposed to bottle up my feelings? So I think that having spaces where teens can just go online and talk to other teens just to express their feelings without feeling like they're going to be judged or like reprimanded for that, I think it's really important.
Thank you. Thank you. I just have to give you guys as parents a round of applause because you guys are amazing. But we're now at our mic drop moment, right? So it's time for you guys to think about a gem that you will want to leave the audience with. So we're gonna start with Aaron, since I see him first over here in the corner.
Okay, I had to write this one down.
Okay.
Come
So
with it.
I recently asked my best friend, like, what would she say to someone dealing with mental health? And she told me that you may have anxiety or depression, but it doesn't have you. So don't give up. You are strong and you don't need to worry, because if no one has your back, God does. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Period, Aaron. That was good. Me, I would say teen are people too, and our mental health matters, and we need more safe spaces to be able to talk, and more safe spaces that we can feel trusted by older generations and people around us. And yeah, that's it.
I'm next, right? Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
think I think that teen health is mental health, and our mental health is world health, because we are the next generation who are coming up inside this world, and we are going to be the adults inside the next generation. And I think that if we're not mentally healthy, then the world that we live in won't be mentally healthy. So I think that our mental health right now is of utmost importance, and because I think that mental health is world health.
Love that.
Understand how to handle children better, because children, like she said, children are people too, and you need to learn how to, deal with them, because not a lot of people know how to deal with children the right way.
Awesome. Thank you, Dylan. Miss Tanaya,
I
your mic
think,
drop.
can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Um, Communication is key. Knowing how to express your feelings and how to tell someone how you feel and how to give um, good feedback to the person that needs your help. Like supporting them or reassuring them that it's okay to feel how they feel and that they need to take such and such measures to make themselves feel better or things to support their feelings better or their mindset.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Amanda, I know you wanted to say something. You wanted to jump in. You're
You're
muted.
muted.
2 years into this, you think I would know, right? But I just wanted to take a moment and pause and let you know how extremely proud we are of you. Just to step up and do this is just, it's amazing. So I'm a therapist, right? But as a therapist, I only see adults. And what I wanted to say, I'm literally fighting back tears because the courage, the self-awareness, the knowledge, the self-esteem that you all are carrying at this age. Here's the interesting. I do not see adults in my practice, right? And most of the things that we're dealing with are things that have happened in childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my favorite quotes is by I believe it's Frederick Douglass. And it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And so
Mm,
I want to applaud the parents because
Yes.
when we reached out to you all, there was no questions. What can I do? Where do I need to have them be? Because there's also some vulnerability here. Shame could have showed up and not my child. You're not about to get on there and tell everything that's going on in our house. But you opened up and you invited us into your spaces and you encouraged your children to be here. Like we are all in this together. And if we could really continue to invest in our children, the world will look like such a different place. TJ made such a good point about, you don't just kind of grow up not being able to assert yourself and give your voice and offer your opinion and then graduate from college or go to the military, graduate from a trade school, whatever your choice is, and be able to become assertive. Those things have to be cultivated,
Right.
right? So working on those healthy things now will make such a major difference. So I want to encourage you all to keep going, to keep believing in yourself, to keep feeling the fear like, oh my God, this is scary, and doing it anyway. And what I think Jamie and Dylan kind of spoke to the fact about therapy, right? And I think Jamie had said something, I believe, yesterday about, but therapy can be expensive and not everybody can afford it. I absolutely understand and agree with that. And here's again, while my practice is primarily adults, I get this all the time. I get calls about adolescents all the time. And I honestly just don't have the space for it. But here's what I'm offering tonight to any parent that is listening. If you or your child will send an email, I will take on one adolescent. You have to be at least 16 years old. 16, 17, or 18. I will take on one adolescent. I will offer free therapy for 6 months. What you need to do, you and your child need to send an email about why therapy and why therapy now. And then I'll make contact. You can send that email to Jackie. Jackie, can you give them the CITCA email address?
yeah.
And then, or you can send the email to A McIntyre, McIntyre, at the sanctuary ccc.com. And I think Jackie or Sheikah will put it in the comment section. But also, there are various resources that you can also look for therapeutic services for your child. If you send an email, we'll put some resources in the chat box as well. But there are ways about it. There are resources out there if you are insured and even if you're not insured. There are resources there, but you do have to do the work. And let me encourage parents this. I have a network of therapist colleagues, right? And the number of us that don't take or don't see children, I'm going to be completely honest in my most loving and gracious voice. The number one reason that many therapists do not see children or adolescents is the difficulty with parents.
Mhm.
If you're going to sign your child up for therapy, trust the therapist. But also understand you may hear some things that you don't want to hear. So when you present the child as the problem, he or she's the problem, fix them, it doesn't work like that. Therapy, when you're dealing with the child is connected to a system. We all work together, and you have to look at it from a systems perspective. You need to be involved and engaged in your therapist. That doesn't mean emailing a therapist. What did he say? What did she say? Why did? No, it's all right. Our next session is going to be a joint session, and we're going to talk about this together. And when you see the child evolving or changing new behaviors, embrace that. Don't resist it. The therapist is not trying to tell you how to run your life. The therapist is trying to give you tools to create more peace in your environment. There are very, very few things in this life that we have control over. When we walk outside our doors, we have no idea what's going to happen. The least that we can do is try to make our home environments as peaceful as possible.
Amen.
So, before we go, I do want to address the parents' concern briefly because it was the question that came up. She said, as a parent, when I see you making a mistake or what I deem as a mistake, how do I let it go and allow it? All I want to do is protect you. So, just before I let maybe one of the youth speak to it, I just want you to understand, Mom, don't let it go. Educate, because education is important because they are so evolved and independent. So they have their own thoughts and belief on what the world is, right? So don't let it go. Just educate them. Look, there's so many examples out in the world you can pull to help you have that conversation when you feel like, look, I need to step in. I see you making a mistake, or I need to intervene. It's totally fine. That's really what we're here for because they need us. As we know as adults, I can count on so many fingers how many times I've needed a mom, I've needed my dad, I've needed a parent, I've needed that support, even as an adult. So I want even the youth to understand that this relationship is so important between the parent child. We gave you the life.
Yeah.
We don't want you to end up like so many we've seen as a result of so many different circumstances. We know when you're out of our eyesight, it's a whole nother ball game. You have to make your choices on your own. And we just want to kind of give you the most information we can provide so that while you're out there making those choices, you're able to make them confidently and safely, responsible decision making. This
And
is what she can.
I just wanted to say something to that question really quick as well. I think as a parent, I've learned to come to the conversation what I've deemed as a mistake or you doing something wrong. I usually come to the conversation with understanding, and in the process, yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's gonna work in my favor. However, I do allow you to be a part of that process and explain what's happening, why I feel the way I feel, and we work together from that. But at the end of the day, my job as a parent is to protect you, but it's also to allow you to have your wings and kind of learn some things on your own as well. Cause I can't always be there. Right.
And be these phenomenal humans we see here today.
Right.
This has been great. We appreciate everyone's time. We have went over, but it was so worth it for the youth to just speak. We do a live every single last Tuesday of the month on different mental wellness topics. Please join us. Even the youth, please join us because it's mental wellness and it impacts all of us. As TJ said, mental health is world health, right? Thank
And
you
next
for
month
engaging.
we'll be speaking to parents. We want to let the parents know next month is your month. So
yes, parents, it's for you next
You
month.
will hear from us. You will get another email.
You are now going to be able to speak and just allow the youth to understand as well. So it's just creating that opportunity for spaces, right? We have some resources we're going to put inside the comments No worries. Everyone will have them. And even the youth, we're going to put resources in the comments as well and email them to you, because we have a lot of great resources for academics and things of that nature, to get you ready for school. You may have issues or challenges with different um, academics, and we want to make sure that you have some tools to kind of make it through any kind of challenge. Thank you, everyone, for viewing. We appreciate you. And that is it for tonight.
Thank you to our panel again.